Okay, so on chapter 3, part 1, we learned about my descent into alcoholism and also that Mariana is a crazy person. That's all you need to know. Alright. On Mariana's birthday, she woke up and kissed Star. "I'm 17!" she exclaimed. It was a Saturday, and Millie was coming over later to watch Mariana open her presents from her parents and from her. Mariana had just stepped out of the shower when the doorbell rang. She wrapped a towel around herself and ran to the door. Her parents were out getting the last of her presents, and she figured it was Millie, since it was well after noon. Okie dokie. She flung open the door and saw Caleb standing there. She blushed a deep shade of red, and he did too. She said, "Yes? I found out that today's your birthday, and I got you something." He shoved a poorly wrapped present in her hands and turned around and walked away. She closed the door and muttered, "Stupid idiot, not looking through the peephole first," under her breath. Then she ran to her room and ripped the present open. Inside was a set of oil paints, a really good set, and 4 excellent paintbrushes, and oil paint remover. She found a note inside the package that read, "My mother was an artist, and this was a gift I didn't have the chance to give her before she died. Hope you use them well, Caleb." Mariana didn't know what to do. She put the art supplies in a drawer and got dressed, just as her parents and Millie arrived. No one had to know about this, other than her, Star, and Caleb. Why? "Wow, thank you, Millie," said Mariana, opening up a makeup case stuffed full of her favorite makeup. She hugged Millie and smiled at everyone. "Well, we can have lunch now," she said, looking at her new camera, new pants, t-shirt, and set of jazz tapes her parents had given her. That's capitalized too, so I don't know if that's a reference to something I've forgotten. But it's capital J, capital T, jazz tapes. She put the makeup bag on the pile of gifts, and they all filed into the kitchen to eat pizza her mom had brought in. Her parents were chatting with Millie about Millie's sewing class. So Mariana started to think of Caleb. He had brought her something she had mentioned to Millie. Had he overheard? Was that what Millie had seen? She doesn't seem that with it to put that together, I don't feel. Oh, but she is pretty crafty. Remember when she pretended to look disheveled so she'd be like, "Oh, it's in a rush to get here and it's an inconvenience for me"? That was so maybe she can put that together. Maybe I'm underestimating her. She chewed her pizza slowly as she thought of what Caleb could have meant with such a meaningful present. "Huh?" said Mariana, suddenly realizing everyone was staring at her. "I said, do you want more pizza?" her mom said, looking worried. Oh no, it's okay, I'm full." "Maybe you should go lie down for a while. You look tired," said Millie. "I can come back later." "Okay," said Mariana, getting up and walking off to her room. She lay on her bed. She fell asleep thinking of Caleb. She had a beautiful dream that Caleb and herself had to be married at once, and that Caleb kissed her, and it was better than any kiss from stupid old Johnny. And then they sat by the actual crystal pond, just holding each other. Then the dream turned sour. Caleb stood up and looked sad. He held out his hand, and Mariana slit it with the same golden dagger she had seen in her previous vision, the one where she cut herself. He fell to the ground, and his blood turned into a little crystal. He lay there, lifeless. Mariana woke up in the same cold sweat she had woken up in at the beginning of August. She glanced at the clock and let out a little eep. It was 5:30. That's the same time as before, right? We can assume. It was a while ago I read that. Caleb woke up in a cold sweat too, gasping for air. He rubbed the back of his neck and looked at the clock. It was 5:30. He hadn't woken up this early in a while, and he was mad that he woke up so early. He rolled out of bed and decided to go for a walk in Fairy Fountain Park. Mariana dressed quickly and ran at full speed to Fairy Fountain Park. She ran until she had no more breath, and then she walked quickly. She saw the fountain come into view, and so did Caleb, walking with his hands in his pockets, looking at the ground. She ran again and smashed into him, wrapping her arms around him. He stumbled backwards and nearly fell. "Mariana?" he asked in shock. "Caleb, thank you so much for the paint," said Mariana. "Hold him tightly." He pried her off himself and held her at arm's length. She looked as though someone had slapped her with a happy stick. What? "No problem. See you around," he said, letting go of her and walking away. He smelled really good, thought Mariana, walked home in a daze. I'm not reading this incorrectly. I'm reading this exactly how I typed it back when I was, 16 some time ago. I don't know how old I was. When she got home, it was practically the same scene as the first time this happened. Her mother came into the kitchen in a rage and commanded that Mariana go to her room. Mariana sat there laughing to herself. She loved Caleb de Winter. Okay, we'll read this one last part and then I'm editing this one. "This is turning out well," said Evening Fate from watching Mariana on her cloud television. "Not so good for Caleb," said Afternoon, looking sad. He was sitting at home, talking to a friend of the female persuasion on the phone. He was laughing and sounded as though they were potential girlfriend and boyfriend. No, that can't happen. It's also Mariana." "You two will never learn," said Morning, shaking her head while she laughed. "You will never possess the knowledge I do. This is all part of our plan." "What is that you..." "Not mine," protested Afternoon. "I was to use my magic on Caleb to make him see the good qualities in Mariana." "You'd need magic to see those." "And I the same," said Evening gently, "just reversed. It started out bad, but look where it's landed. She is now painting a picture of him with hearts around his face." "Yes, Afternoon," said Morning. "Your job was to do so, but it was my job to alter your spells and make it just a course of events that will strengthen what will come." What? "Your job was to do so, but it was my job to alter your spells and make it just a course of events that will strengthen what will come. Wait and see. It should all work out." "You said should," said Afternoon, a quiver in her voice. "Yes," said Morning sadly. "But if it does not work, we are all doomed."